Well, boys and girls, it's me, Rattenborough, back again. Today we're going to talk about a group of animals that you already know a little something about, based on your own personal experience. Hilda Hippo is one of these, and I am one of these. Remember our mnemonic? All my best friends represent vertebrates. Yes, the letter M in the word my stands for mammals. And guess what? You are mammals too. Who can name some characteristics of mammals? In what ways are you like Hilda and me? What keen observations you make. Yes, we are warm-blooded vertebrates with hair. I think you could help me teach this lesson. Let's begin with the name of this group, mammals. It comes from the Latin word mammalia. The word mammalia refers to a group of animals who possess mammary glands. Mammary glands are milk-producing organs that belong to female mammals. When female mammals give birth, they secrete a nourishing substance, milk, to feed their young. That is one of the primary characteristics of mammals. We feed our young milk. That's right, rats drink mother's milk, hippopotami drink mother's milk, and so do humans. The mother's milk has all the nourishment that a baby needs. How wonderful is that? A baby rat that has its mother nearby never has to raid or charge through garbage cans for food. He can stay inside where it's warm, enjoying the lovely liquid meal prepared by its mother's own body. Looking at this slide makes me a little sad when I think back on my days when my mom always had a warm meal ready for me. Before the days when I became an adult and now have to hunt, sometimes for long, grueling days, just to find a scrap or, excuse me students, I just got lost in a lovely memory from my childhood. Please forgive me, and we'll get back to my slides about mammals. After all, the show must go on. Mammals have backbones. Reach around and check out your backbone once more to make sure your backbone is still there. Of course it is. Without backbones, we wouldn't be able to sit up straight or hold our heads in the air, and our spinal cords that house the nerves that send messages to our brain would be unprotected. So because we all have backbones, scientists call us what? Yes, we are all vertebrate. Reptiles, amphibians, and fish all have relatively low metabolisms, as you have learned. They are classified as cold-blooded animals. Like birds, mammals such as this horse have a high metabolism, burning lots of energy to help them maintain a constant internal body temperature. What is the term that taxonomists use to classify mammals in terms of body temperatures? Yes, we are warm-blooded. One of you was right when you said that mammals are covered in hair or fur. Some of us are hairier than others. Hilda hippo and other hippopotamuses don't look so hairy, do they? But you might remember that they do have a little bit of hair around their mouths and on the tip of their ears and tails. Let's take a look at a few of our furrier friends. Here's one of my favorite mammals. I love this stately long neck and envy his ability to reach high into the trees and eat leaves and to see into the distance. I'll bet that if I were as tall as a giraffe, I could spot my enemies more quickly. Does anyone know what the other animal is? It's a yak. Yaks need their shaggy hair and dense woolly undercoats to keep them warm in the cold Tibetan plateau where they live. Tigers and leopards have fur too. Look at this Bengal tiger and this beautiful snow leopard of Central Asia. Both of these cat species are on the list of endangered species, a list of animals whose numbers have dwindled due to the loss of their habitats over hunting. Furry bears come in all shapes and sizes and live on all different parts of the world. Look at this giant panda. It has many characteristics found among different kinds of bears: polar bears, black bears, grizzly bears, and sun bears. The giant panda is a good example of an animal which has proven challenging to classify. Taxonomists have actually changed their mind about which animal it is most closely related to. They used to classify the giant panda with the red panda in a group that included raccoons. Now, with some help from some more scientific tools, taxonomists believe that the giant panda may be more closely related to bears, even though it eats mostly bamboo. Does anyone know what this is? It's a marmot, a type of squirrel. And here's another type of squirrel, the flying squirrel. These squirrels don't really fly, but they have 2 folds of skin on their sides of their bodies that help them take great leaps, gliding through the air with the help of their tails for steering. The only mammals that can truly fly are bats. They have skin between their long fingers that stretches out, turning arms into wings when they open. Bats may seem like birds, but they are not because they do not have feathers. They actually have a fine fur, and bats give birth to live young. I think you'll recognize these more common animals, and I'll bet some of you have a furry mammal pet, don't you? Take a look at the fur on this cat. Now that's what I call furry. This is a Maine Coon cat. I must say, this fur puts my fur to shame. Most, but not all mammals are terrestrial, meaning that they live on land. Can you think of an aquatic mammal? A mammal that lives in water? I'll give you a hint. One of them is my friend Hilda. Ah, yes, hippopotami love the water, but they are actually semi-aquatic, meaning they live partly in the water and partly on land. Usually Hilda and other hippopotami stand in the water during the day to keep cool. Then they graze on land when evening falls. Through recent study and discussion based on the data of the special computer equipment you have just heard about, taxonomists now think that the closest living relatives to hippopotami are whales, which are fully aquatic mammals. Scientists used to think that hippos were most closely related to pigs, but now new information from modern scientific tools is changing the way hippos are classified. Whales are marine mammals, meaning they live in the ocean. The blue whale is not only the largest mammal, it is the largest animal on Earth. Blue whales can grow up to 100 feet long. That is a little longer than a basketball court. Its tongue alone weighs more than 3 tons. Imagine that. Manatees and smaller whales such as dolphins and porpoises are also fully aquatic marine animals. They share saltwater seas with walruses, seals, semi-aquatic animals that like to wander to shore, just like Hilda Hippo does. Marine animals are believed by many scientists to have evolved from land animals, and they share many of the same characteristics. They are warm-blooded, have backbones, and fur or hair, even though sometimes it is the tiniest amount of hair, and they breathe oxygen from the air. Remember when we talked about how fish use gills to breathe oxygen from water? Remember how amphibians use those gills to develop into lungs, requiring amphibians to come to the surface of the water to breathe air? Well, mammals also have lungs. All mammals have lungs and an underlying diaphragm that assists breathing. That means helps with breathing. When the diaphragm tightens, it creates more space in the lung cavity, and the air is drawn into the lungs. All mammals, including whales and porpoises, dolphins and manatees, must come to the surface of the water now and then to breathe. Some mammals also live in freshwater. I want to introduce you to another semi-aquatic relative of mine. This is the capybara. He, like me, is classified as a rodent and likes to swim. Have I told you, incidentally, that I, Rattenborough, am a good swimmer? I am rather proud of that fact. The capybara can stay underwater for a full 5 minutes without coming up for air. a feat that helps him escape predators. Did you know that capybaras are one of the favorite foods of anacondas like Anna? Another semi-aquatic animal, also a rodent, is the beaver. It makes its home near rivers along with river otters. One of the most unusual semi-aquatic mammals is the duck-billed platypus. It has a large rubbery bill like a duck in the bird group, the flat, broad tail of a beaver in the mammal group, a reptilian webbed feet. This odd, venomous creature lives in the Australian waters. The duck-billed platypus is unusual for another reason. It is one of the only a few mammals that lay eggs. It is a pattern breaker. Spiny anteaters, also native to Australia and nearby islands, are the only other egg-laying mammals. All other mammals are live-bearing, which means they give birth to live young. The young are nourished inside the mother's body, and most are fully developed when they're born, looking like smaller versions of their parents. A few, like kangaroos and possums, are part of a group of mammals called marsupials. Marsupial babies are very underdeveloped when they are born, but they move directly to the mother's protective pouch to be nourished by her milk. All mammals, whether hatched from eggs or born live, feed on their mother's milk in their infancy. As warm-blooded animals with high metabolic rates, mammals must eat more food than other animals their size in order to store enough energy to keep their bodies warm. So what do mammals eat? Think of all the different types of mammals that you've learned about today. Then think about your own diet. Do you eat the same foods as dogs or cats? Do elephants eat oranges? Do whales eat green beans? Mammals eat a variety of foods depending upon where they live. Some mammals are carnivores or meat eaters. Others are herbivores, eating only plants. Still others eat both plants and animals and are called omnivores. Remember learning that birds' beaks may provide clues to their diets? The same is true for mammals' mouths. Wide mouths and sharp-pointed teeth suggest that these mammals may be carnivores. Wolves, whales, and bats are all carnivores. Herbivores are more likely to have long jaws, long tongues, and flat teeth. Deer, sheep, monkeys, and pandas are all herbivores. Omnivore mammals, including bears, possums, chipmunks, and mice. Many humans are omnivores, but humans think about the choices they make about what they eat. Omnivores generally have sharper front teeth and flat teeth for chewing in the back of their mouths. Think about your mouth. Do you think humans were designed to eat meat, only plants, or both meats and plants? Why? Next time we'll look at the last of my slides. Be ready to review the 5 vertebrate groups of the animal kingdom: amphibians, mammals, birds, fish, and reptiles. I'm sure you're becoming quite skilled at classifying animals, and we'll get to have some fun doing just that. See you soon.